Hello, it's Fabio Malaspina with the Project New Waters, the Willoughby chapter. Today I'll show you to tie a streamer using a micro rabbit strip. Hope you enjoy the video and we'll see you next week.
Okay, we're gonna tie a streamer. Already put hook on my vise is an Orvis 8808 size 6 4x long streamer hook. I already put about 10-15 wraps of lead wire around the hook shank. This is size 0.020. I'm going to use some black thread size 6/0. I am going to make a few wraps through the lead wire and then right behind it, so to help keep that lead wire in place. I'm going to cut the tag off of my thread. I'm going to bring my thread down to the bend of the hook. I am going to get a small amount of rabbit fur. This is yellowish. And we're going to use this material to make a little tail for this fly. I'm going to pinch it and keep it above the hook shank. I'm going to make a couple of loose wraps and tie it down right over the hook shank, like so. Then I'm going to get I'm going to use a Mink Zonker white. If you have micro rabbit strips, those would work as well. So it doesn't have to be mink. So I am going to cut. I'm going to measure this. So I'm going to cut about 2 inches. I'm guessing. And I want this the mink zonker to be about maybe a little longer than the yellow rabbit. Then I'm gonna wet my fingers to help separate the rabbit, the mink zonker fur, or rabbit if you're using rabbit. And then I'm gonna secure the zonker right above the hook shank, like so. So when I wet my fingers, it's gonna help me part the mink hair. And I'm gonna make a couple of loose wraps to make sure that the hide sits right on top of the hook shank. I have a pair of air clips. I'm going to use these to keep that mink zonker out of my way. Then I'm going to get some ultra wire in silver. This is brassy size, but you can use medium, you can use small, whatever you have should work. I'm gonna cut pieces about 3 or 4 inches. I'm gonna secure it right against the butt end of that lead wire that I put earlier. And I'm going to bring my thread forward, and I'm going to lock it in place with a couple of whip finishing loops right behind the eyelet. I'm going to cut it off, and then we're going to use this thread again later. Then I'm going to get some black floss. And I'm going to lay it. I'm going to start right behind that lead wire. I'm going to cut the excess off here. I'm going to go at the base of the Mink Zonker, and I'm going to work my way back to the where the intersection with the lead wire. I'm going to go over the lead wire like so, and I'm going to go back, and I'm going to make sure that I have as carrot shape possible the body here. So as I work with my floss, I'm going to make sure that I fill any gaps. Not that it's going to matter, as you fish it, but it makes the fly look a little nicer. So now I'm going to make a whip finishing and lock that floss in place. Cut that thread. Now I'm going to palmer the silver wire, and I'm going to shoot that have the same spacing. It's going to make the fly look a little nicer. And then I'm going to add my black thread, the 6/0 black thread I had earlier. Cut the tag end, lift it up, and then go over with my thread to lock that silver ultra wire in place. I'm going to reach in with a very bad an old pair of scissors. I'm going to fold over this Mink Zonker, and then I'm going to lock it in place with a couple of thread wraps. I'm going to reach in with my scissors and cut the forward part of that zonker. Alrighty, so next step, I'm going to get some lateral scale, which I have right here. I am going to get a couple of strands. I'm going to put a strand on the side of the fly facing me. Make 2 wraps and then fold the forward part of that lateral scale, and then go with my thread and lock it in place. I'm gonna cut the lateral scale to be about the length of the zonker, the Mink Zonker. I'm going to get another lateral scale fiber. I'm gonna slide it between the hook and the thread. I'm gonna use the thread pressure to hold it in place like so. I'm gonna fold this the forward part over again and lock that lateral scale in place. And then I'm gonna make sure that even the lateral scale fibers I put on the other side are about the same length as the hook shank. Alrighty. So now the last step, I am going to I'm going to make a dubbing loop. I'll show you here. Let me go over the lateral scale a little more so it doesn't flare out too much on me, like that. Then I'm going to make a dubbing loop with my thread and close the base of that loop, the base right here. I'm going to apply some wax on my thread. I am going to insert my dubbing spinner, which is right here. You see what I've done that. I'm gonna get about maybe a little less than an inch of this, again, this rabbit, yellow rabbit zonker. I'm going to insert this piece of zonker in between my dubbing loop. And I don't want to use the whole length of the those fibers. So I'm gonna, as you can see, I pulled maybe half of it, and I'm gonna cut half of it off. Like so. I'm gonna adjust it. Then I'm gonna spin my dubbing twister here. And that's gonna cause the rabbit, the yellow rabbit, to flare out. I'm gonna do that a few times. I am going to get my ice cream stick with a piece of Velcro, and I'm gonna pull, whatever fibers are trapped out. Then I'm going to pull these fibers back. I'm gonna palmer them, and every time I make a wrap, I'm gonna pull those fibers back. I'm gonna lift this dubbing loop up. I'm gonna go with my thread a few times. Reach in with my scissors, cut that dubbing loop off. Fold all the yellow rabbit hair backwards, and then go with my thread and try to make as neat as possible head for this fly. Like that. I'm going to get my whip finisher, and as I whip finish, again, I'm going to pull the hair back so it does nothing gets trapped. I'm going to do that one more time. Now I can cut my thread off. And I'm gonna trim any of these straggling pieces of rabbit fur. You know, you can put some super glue. I'm gonna use some UV resin. I'm gonna put some over that black thread. And then use my UV light to cure it. And there you have it. We have a streamer that's made with you know, mink zonker, or again you can use micro rabbit, a micro rabbit strip. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next week.